Last year I got off on a bit of a rant about there being no honest-to-Palm OS device in the round robin, and hoped 2009 would bring about something new as in Nova. No, not the giant sucking oblivion many of us secretly feared, but a rebirth of Rubinsteinian proportions. So, how did that turn out exactly? Bah! Stop it! Dang multitasking, notifying, synergistic little web-based bugger! Very funny. Is that the best gesture you've got? Ah! Cards!
Hi everyone, this is Rene from the iPhone blog, and this is the Smartphone Experts Round Robin Year 3, and I am about to get learned on the Palm Pre. So I have Dieter Bohn of PreCentral.net with me, and Dieter, this looks like a perfect black slab, unruined by even the hint of a keyboard.
Yeah, it's not really a slab, it's a
Riverstone?
Yeah, they really got that in their head, really. I don't want to call it that, but that's what it looks like.
And there are keys. So this is what caused the great schism between Steve Jobs and John Rubinstein? These
I
things?
suppose so, yeah. And John Rubinstein, totally right.
Totally right. People need their physical keyboards.
Yeah, no, obviously the iPhone's got the best software keyboard out there, but I like physical keyboard better, and this keyboard is pretty darn good.
All right, so I pressed me the web button, and I got a bunch of, not a series of tubes, but a bunch of tabs, it looks like.
Well, yeah, they're little previews of the site that you're going to visit. So you're going to the mobile PreCentral site there. I think if you go to a site that auto-detects for iPhone, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get the iPhone version on the
All
Pre.
right, well, let's see. I happen to know such a site.
Yeah.
And I have to use a physical keyboard to get there, Dieter. This is not starting out to be an illustrious day so far for me. All right, so if I was coming to this from my iPhone, what, besides this series of keyboards down here, what would I notice that is different?
Well, you'd notice if you hit the center button that you've got multitasking. And,
What's that?
You got true multitasking for the entire OS, not just certain key apps. Yep, there you go, the iPhone version.
Nice. This looks like a great website. I have to check it later.
It's a great website. It's a great browser. It's second only to the iPhone, in my opinion. So if you were you could open up another web card here, or you can open up Tweet, the Twitter
Can
client.
I move side? I don't. These aren't scrollable like on HTC.
No, that's a single dock, and then the rest of your icons you just swipe up again.
Oh, you have a gesture area under here. That's right.
Yeah,
I've forgotten about
that gives you the back gesture, which surprisingly is really, really useful. It's something else that I think iPhone owners would really kind of like, because there's so many apps, especially on the iPhone, where there's a back button somewhere, and often it's in the upper left, but not always necessarily, and you got to reach way up for it. But having just a gesture area and just be able to hit back is really convenient.
It would be convenient. I never miss it until I try one of these other phones, and then I go back to the iPhone and I keep hitting the button that doesn't exist. What's a good app for me to try? What's a very pre-ish app?
Oh, might as well try the photos. That'll show you two things. It'll show you the pinch to zoom, the full multi-touch, and I guess it'll also show you that the webOS on the Pre is not quite as fast as the iPhone.
And it'll show me what pictures you've been taking.
Yeah, what have I been taking?
A giant watch. I am startled.
So you can do the full pinch to zoom on that. And there is a flash on this.
Come on, pinch me some zoom. There we go.
There's a flash on this camera, but you can see the flash is only good for going about 2 feet, and then it fails.
And there you are.
Yeah.
So the screen feels different. Is it not a glass screen on
Yeah,
this?
it's a plastic screen.
Okay. So I can feel it is a capacitive. I can feel it's fairly performing, but it's amazing. I do feel a bit of a difference without the glass.
Really? You can tell that?
Yeah.
So
So
you should try that back gesture there.
I was just thinking of that.
Checo. Nice job.
Nice. And
And then
you remember
swipe up to get your card view, and now you're multitasking, and you can quit a card or an app by swiping it away.
That's so Vegas.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And if I want to get more apps, I can just. That's very nice. Now, apparently, this will also notify you in a method that doesn't make you want to break your phone.
Pretty much, yeah. It's quite nice here. I'm gonna grab your iPhone. I'm gonna
Nice.
send us a text message, and you can keep showing us some stuff there.
All right, now this thing I thought was I thought Palm made two incredibly smart decisions when they launched webOS. One was to make basically web development the programming language, and the second was this little classic guy here, so that people didn't have to abandon their Palm OS applications when they came forward.
That's right. And you might be looking at the fact that I didn't get it registered in this version of the Pre here.
Well, I can still see old school Palm right here. My 4 buttons, my.
Yeah.
That's genius, because quite frankly, when I got my iPhone, there was no click wheel iPod emulation. I couldn't play my click wheel games. So yeah.
Well, look at that. So so you can ignore that text message if you want. You can just keep on doing what you're doing, and then when you're ready to go look at it, you can tap down on that area, and now you can either swipe it to the right to just dismiss it, or you can tap on it to go into the SMS app.
Nice.
And
now, realistically, how many of those little cards can I have? Can I have like 5 cards, like a poker game?
oh, for sure, yeah. 5 cards is not a problem on the Pre. It depends on the cards and how much you're doing on them and how memory intensive they are. They don't give you a hard limit of cards. It's basically how much RAM is left in the system. So, 5 to 10. Beyond that, things start to get a little bit dicey on the pre.
So poker's okay, solitaire is a bad idea.
Pretty much.
All right.
Now on the Pixie, which has got a little bit less memory, you're maxing out at like 3 to 4, to be perfectly honest.
And I just want to show people how incredibly tiny this phone is, because people thought the iPhone was pretty thin and slim, but I forget if it was you or Keith or Derek. Someone said you could actually fit a Pixie inside an iPhone, and I kind of believe it. This is a tiny phone, dear. This is the Air to the Centro.
Yeah, it is itty bitty.
Is there a power button up here? Yes, there is.
Yep.
An easier to find power button for people like me, at least. Nice. Now I can drag to unlock. Yeah, I've seen that before somewhere.
Yeah, although this one's more convenient because you can drag it anywhere.
And you've got my text message.
Yeah, well, it's because I'm using Google Voice, which webOS can fully support. And
what's Google Voice?
Yeah, if you patch the phone, you can support it way deep down to the guts of it.
All right, what's patching for people unfamiliar with it?
Patching is basically modifying the OS so that the out-of-the-box experience is a little bit different. So this one is unpatched. On the pre, I have a patch to do things like show instead of the battery meter, there's a percentage number there.
Okay. So it's kind of what we would do with jailbreaking.
It's actually a lot like jailbreaking. It's just that instead of Palm trying to shut it down constantly like Apple does, Palm has sort of not quite embraced it, but accepted it and are happy with it.
So Palm kind of figures what would Apple do and then does the right thing instead?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like the Costanza approach.
Yeah. Now, I think one thing we do need to point out is if iPhone users coming to the webOS are not going to have as wide a selection of apps and are not going to have as immersive and dynamic apps. You're not going to get 3D gaming on the webOS yet.
And how many apps are we looking at now on the official side?
The official thing, they broke 500. It's probably about up to 550 now.
And on the homebrew gallery at precentral.net?
We've got about 325.
And these are running like localized web applications, but with really deep hooks into the phone?
Right, exactly. So it's a web app, but it's saved locally on the phone, of course, and you get access to, GPS, the speaker, the proximity sensor, the accelerometer, the other applications on the phone, like your contacts and your calendar, and so on.
And this also lacks a little button, but I just kind of started doing the same thing I did with this one, and it worked anyway.
There's a button there on the Pixie. And actually, Palm told me that they wanted to make the pre without this center button and just the gesture area, but they were afraid that people would be put off by that.
Well, yeah, it would look less like an iPhone.
Yeah, they chickened out a little bit, and I wish they hadn't. I wish that this were a clean front face. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be pretty hot looking. I also noticed that the screen is longer on the Pre than the Pixie, but it's kind of just reformatting it.
Yep, that's because they're web pages. So a web page will display on any size screen you got on a laptop. So most web apps on the webOS will display on multiple screen sizes. So Palm's got a lot of options for future development.
Are any of them breaking at this point, or do they all
there's a few that were originally not formatted to be for multiple resolutions. But most developers are getting that fixed pretty quick, and now they've had that learning experience. So I don't think it'll be a huge problem in the future.
It's because I keep using those table tags you yell at me for, right?
Yeah. Actually, table tags work out okay. It's static image maps that are a problem.
So if you spend a lot of time now on Palm, if you had to go back to the iPhone, is it multitasking and gesture and notifications you'd miss the most?
Yeah, exactly. I'd miss multitasking. I'd miss notifications. I'd actually miss the gestures, which seems really silly, but it really you get used to it really quickly. And whenever I pick up an iPhone, I try the back gesture, and it doesn't work.
The back gesture. I'm trying it right now. And since you haven't had your iPhone with you for a while, you've been using this. What from the iPhone do you think that Palm should be still looking at?
They should fix iTunes sync again, or get a media sync solution. And they gotta find a way to complement their HTML apps with full native apps, or something that can give them 3D gaming and some really compelling apps in that direction.
So that's interesting. Do you think that because media is still so large, you need a local solution for that?
Yeah. For sure. I wish they had a better video solution. Pretty much it's drag and drop, and you got to encode your own stuff, to be honest.
That's awesome. Thank you very much, Dieter. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to doing more with the Palm devices, webOS.